Hello everyone, Dustin Zahner with Creating the Difference. Today we are back with another edition of TruBall Reviews. We got our first shot here. Of course, we start every video out with the control ball, which is the Storm IQ Tour. Now we have that control ball so we can get a good idea of what the review ball is going to do compared to the IQ Tour. Now today's review ball is the Radical Results Solid. If you're familiar with the original results, the original results was pretty angular. So we're going to see, first off, the scan data for this ball with the hand scanner, which is scanning at 4,000 grit. So we'll take a look at the results solid and see what kind of motion we get out of this ball. So first shot, wash out, little right, but that's okay. We'll take a look at the specto data here. Launch angle was a little open, but speed and RPM ratio was pretty close. We used the RPM to speed ratio to validate the shots to confirm that they were thrown the same. So we'll go back to the IQ Tour, continue to throw a couple shots with this ball, and get a read on the results solid. So those two shots were actually pretty close together, just to board off at the laydown point, but pretty close, and you can see that the IQ Tour actually outhooked the results solid by just about 2 boards. So we'll continue to take a look at this ball and give our thoughts on this one. So we do have those lines out there, courtesy of Clutch Bowling. They have partnered with the CTD Education Center to be able to give us the real-time feedback. It's awesome to see, especially when we're ball testing, or ball reviewing, I should say, to see those lines. It gives us real-time feedback, and we're able to give you a good idea of what to expect. So these initial couple shots, we're noticing that the results solid is very early, definitely falling into that traction motion, which is great to have if you're bowling on something like a longer pattern that might be a little bit higher volume. This bowling ball would be a great piece to have in your bag, to be first out of your bag. So we're going to go ahead and move in a little bit, see how the results solid as well as the control ball, the IQ Tour, performs in the oil. So we're going to have that target at 20 board. Get a good read off of this ball that actually looked pretty good. So we will take a look at the specto data first and then throw another shot with the results solid. Now these traction motion will be earlier as opposed to angular, which would hook further down the lane as opposed to earlier. So traction motions are earlier, angular is later down the lane. The angular motion is something that you would like on a pattern that might be broken down, so you can get a ball down the lane and it will still face up. So this ball is very, very rolly, which, like I mentioned, is going to be good on something like a longer pattern that might have a little bit more volume. But that's still a great motion to have in your bag, especially in a tournament situation. So we're going to clean the lane off, get rid of those lines so we can get some fresh lines out there. And you see that box that just came on the lane, that is actually a portion of Clutch Bowling that was added for us, that we can get real-time data for the bowler. So that will show you some specs to let you know how you threw it. So we're going to put a target on the lane. Another advantage of clutch bowling, if you come to the CTD Education Center, you can get these targets out on the lane for you. If you need to practice targeting is a difficult thing to learn, especially with launch angles. So these 2 boxes would help a lot if you are needed to work on targeting. So another good shot with the IQ Tour. So we will go to the results solid and see how it performs there. Of course, we got that Specto data. Really curious to see what the results solid does here in terms of ball reaction for us. So little in, still packed. But you can see that bowling ball is very, very rolly. In a smidge, but that's alright. We will continue to throw some good shots with that ball. Get a good read, and we will give you our final thoughts. So here we go. Results solid, little right. Again, very, very rolly. Yeah, this is unlike the original results, which would definitely fall into that angular category. This ball is definitely early, so opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to ball motion. Results solid, early. Original results, angular. So that was a great example. That shot was not far off, but the reaction was completely different from what we have seen. So that's a big red flag to say, hey, get out of this bowling ball. You need to go something that is going to blend out the pattern a little bit. Was that when it sees friction, hooks a lot, and something that you just want to use on the fresh. But of course, it depends on the situation you're in, right? So if you might be able to use a whole block, it just depends on what you're bowling on, who you're bowling with, where you're bowling. But still, definitely a rolly piece, falling into that traction motion. So we see another shot here. Pretty close in terms of ball reaction. A little lazy, but it got there. So we're going to stay there and repeat that shot, but we are going to add rotation or get around the ball more. So what I mean by that, as opposed to coming like my normal release, you notice how I switched the release here. It allows the fingers to get under the ball, and as opposed to comparatively being up the back of the ball. So you're switching from being up the back to up the side. And you'll see the difference in reaction that we get here. Right there, but got around it. So we'll throw a good shot and see what we do here with getting around that result solid. Usually we like to keep all the variables the same, but it's an educational piece, right? Because this is something that you can implement into your game if you ever have a situation like this. If this ball might not be looking how you want it. So we'll throw another good shot here. That was a good one. But it's a great piece to have in your arsenal, your release arsenal, I should say. If you ever see ball motion like we did before, maybe adding a little bit of rotation is what you need. But anyways, falling into that traction category would complement the original results pretty well. So if this ball starts to go away, then you can go to that result solid, start migrating in whether you're right or left-handed, and you'll be lined up. So if you're interested in the results solid, you can get one at bowlingforless.com. You can also get the control ball, the Storm IQ Tour, at bowlingforless.com as well. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment. What do you think about the results solid? Is this something that would fit in your bag? Will this fill a hole that you might need for the fresh of a longer pattern? Let us know in the comments. Also, give some feedback on the videos. We got a new setup at the CCD Education Center, so feel free to let us know what you think about the new setup as well as all of the other TruBall reviews. With that being said, my name is Dustin Zahner. Thank you again for tuning in, and have an awesome day.